Wasn't sure what I was going to call this video. Haven't decided on the title yet. It could be Anatomy of a Disaster, Trainwreck in slow motion, but or even when it all goes to. I just wanted to share my thoughts around something I've been working on for a little while now that is just not working anymore. And it's so far away from what my original idea was. And I find myself sort of scrambling to try and save it, that I realize it's gone too far now. And it's one of those sort of interesting moments where you get very attached to an idea and you're developing it over time and things are sort of going kind of nicely. And some of you may have seen me posting some videos of this particular work in progress. And I was certainly happy with how it was developing, but there was a point where things started to go wrong. And it's when I added an ink wash to the figure's face, and it was too dark. And I've been sort of scrambling ever since to try and pull it back. And that just hasn't been working. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe the pieces can just take a different direction now, and that's okay. I'm all for happy accidents leading you down great paths, particularly when I'm working in watercolor. That happens lots. I love that part of it, but this isn't one of those moments I've understood. And it kind of made me think of this whole sunk cost fallacy, this idea that you spend so much time and energy on something and it's just not going where you want it to go, but you think because you've spent so much time and energy on it that you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going, and you keep sinking more and more time and energy into something that ultimately isn't going to be what you wanted. So I'm just going to put a line on it, and it's probably hard to see what's particularly wrong with this. Also, some of you may have noticed, but I have. I've tried lightening the ink wash by adding white charcoal pencil and some gouache and rubbing that in. And I was trying to be creative. And then I thought I might just treat it like a grisaille type painting, where you do a monochromatic undertone painting and then go over the top again with some thin washes of colour, which I've started to try to do here with some watercolour, and it's just not working. And it's not watercolour paper, and I just realised, stop. And I could easily just shelved this, and no one would be the wiser. But I just thought it's important to talk about the things that don't go right, and I'm just really conscious of how much of what we see now, particularly through social media, is so perfectly curated, and you just don't see mistakes, and you just don't see the failures. There are some people out there that are bold enough to share them, but most of the time people don't have to. You can take 100 shots and choose the best one and put that up, and that's fine. But it just creates this perception that everything is so beautiful and perfect. And sometimes, as an artist, when you're looking at other people's work, you can ride a really fine line between being inspired and being intimidated. And I find that I tend to ride the right side of the line most of the time, but every now and then you just kind of like, oh, this is hard. There's so many fabulous people out there doing wonderful work. What am I trying to do? And it's just useful to remind yourself that those people who are showing these fabulous pieces of work will have had their failures, and they will have learned from them. There's so much I have learned from this experience about what not to do, but also when to be careful and when to be considerate about the choices I'm making next. And there's as I said, there are some artists who are very open about that, and I really applaud it. So I wanted to show you one of my failures, and it's it's something I will definitely put away, and there might be a time when I'll come back to it and I might say I can repurpose this and try something and use it for experimental purposes. But the fact is, it's not work for a client. It's not time sensitive. I can choose when to stop and start again. And it is just very, very far removed from this original mind's eye for this piece. And so I'm happy to do that. I'm at peace with it, and I am looking forward to trying it again. And I absolutely am a strong believer that the next piece will be better as a consequence. So there you go. And it's not, this is not a woe is me, oh, what a shame all of this has not turned out the way it could have. That's not what I'm about, because things are going exceptionally well at the moment. I'm really, really happy with my work, with my productivity. I've got some great ideas on the go. I can't even remember if I mentioned that I've been accepted into the Open Studio program here in my local shire, which means I'll be inviting people in to come and see my studio, which is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to the sorts of things that I can prepare in response to that. It's driving me to want to develop a few more pieces of work to have on display. So that's really exciting. And I also, I've just printed off some new cards to send out to publishers. This one's showing some of my black and white internal artwork. And there's the back showing off my little sequence there of images which I've got on my website. And I've done one too based on the work that I was doing for the Little Hess illustration prize submission. So that's always a little bit of fun. They're reasonably cheap to put together, but they're nice to receive those in the post, and I'll be sending some of those out to publishers very shortly. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about this week. And as I said, I'm really excited about the sort of stuff that I've got going on at the moment. And I hope that I'll be able to do another video like this to show how this spurred me on to a stronger next piece. Because this is part of a little series I've just started that I would like to continue. I've got a few more ideas of other pieces that might go along on this theme. Simple pleasure for this week. I can't believe I'm saying this, but roasted Brussels sprouts. I've never been somebody. I grew up with Brussels sprouts being this horrible boiled thing most of the time. So did not like my Brussels sprouts, and somewhere along the line I was introduced to the way they should be cooked and roasted with some garlic, maybe some butter. Oh, so good. That's my simple pleasure for this week. Thanks for everybody who's been viewing, commenting. As always, I look forward to seeing you next week with Barney, who's not looking that pleased with being impeded. Okay. See you next time. Bye.